Higgsfield is one of the most powerful AI platforms out there, but most people only know 20% of what it can actually do. That's why in the next 16 minutes, I'll reveal everything I've learned about it over the last year. I'll show you all these secrets inside, plus the only 3 methods you need to know to create anything from hyper-realistic UGC ads to cinematic AI films. So now let's get straight into Higgsfield and start with the first method, which is honestly one of the best for AI filmmaking. And by the way, if you don't have an account yet, you can sign up to Higgsfield using the link in the description down below. Once we're inside, let's select Cinema Studio from the top bar. Then we need to create a new project, and I'll call mine Method 1. Now this is where you've got a bunch of settings and secret features. So let's actually build a cinematic scene from scratch, and I'll walk you through each one step by step. And as you probably know, just like with any project, you want to start with the assets. So let's go ahead and create our characters. But here's the thing, I'm not going to use the same method for both characters I want inside my video, and I'll show you exactly why in a second. For the first one, I want a character that looks exactly like me, so I'll make sure the image section is selected inside Cinema Studio, and for the model, I'm going with Auto. And this is what most people don't get. Instead of choosing manually between GPT Image 2 and Nano Banana Pro, which are the 2 best image models right now, you pick Auto and let the AI figure out which one is best for your actual task. So you're not guessing and getting it wrong. So let's choose that. And because the AI needs to know exactly how I look to create my character, I'm going to use a character sheet with 11 small panels I made of my face from different angles. So let's press the plus button and upload it. Then for the character prompt, this is what I'll write. And Higgsfield gives us this new character sheet with 2 panels. The first one with the full outfit, and the second one a close-up of the face. But what's really important here is that it kept the background neutral. So when we use it as the reference for the video, the AI understands exactly which one is my character. So let's save that as a character and go create the second one. But this time, I have no initial photo of the character I want to make. And yeah, sure, I could write a prompt to try to match what I'm looking for, but instead, I'll do something else. And this works perfectly if you're not the most creative person, or you just find it easier to pick between options than to think up every detail yourself. You go to the mode and select AI Cast, and you get this secret feature called Build Your Cast. And what it lets you do is create a new character from scratch just by choosing between these presets. And as you can see, there are quite a lot of them. First, we have the genre, which for my character, I'll set to action. Next, we have the budget in millions, which decides how expensive your character looks, so I'll go with 200 million. For the era, I want something modern, so I'll pick 2020s. Then we have the archetype, which I think is one of the most important ones here, because when you normally write a prompt, you don't think to add the character's archetype. So here, we can choose anything from the lover, the creator, the innocent, even the rebel, which is the one I'll pick for my character. Then we have identity. I'll go with male for race, I'll choose black, and for age, I'll go with 35. Then, for the physical appearance, you can see we have a ton of presets. For the build, I'm going with athletic, and for the height, you can go anywhere from very short to very tall, but I'll go with tall. You can also choose the eye color, hairstyle, and texture, but I'll skip those. So let's press generate. And here's the cool part. Normally, creating an AI character with GPT Image 2 or Nano Banana Pro inside Higgsfield costs you anywhere from 4 to 12 credits. But with AI Cast, it costs 0.125 credits, which is dozens of times cheaper, even though the quality is sometimes actually better than the Pro models. So here's what it gives us back. The character has exactly all the features we asked for. So I'll save it and move on to the next asset we need for our AI film, which is the location. And for this, you could go with the auto setting, but then you'd be missing one of the coolest features, which is cinematic locations inside Cinema Studio. With this, you can create 10 different generations at 4K each, for a quarter of what a single image with GPT Image 2 would cost you. And more than that, this feature was trained on real movies. So even if you write one of the simplest, most basic prompts, you'll still get a cinematic location. So let's try it with this prompt. Now let's press generate to see what we get. As you can see, it really nailed it, everything from the lighting to the whole mood of the place. So now, before I can actually go and create the videos, I also need to make an object. So this time, I'm using auto again and letting the AI decide which model is best for it. And for the prompt, I'll write this. I'll keep the settings the same, so the aspect ratio is 16:9 and the quality is set to 4K. And now let's press generate. And now that we've got this small object, which looks extremely powerful and dangerous, I'll save it. So that's all my assets built and saved before I've generated a single second of video. And now I'll get straight into the video section inside Cinema Studio. So I'll add all the assets I made earlier as image references after I check the eligibility for each one. So now we've got our two characters, the location, and the object all in place, and this is what I'll write as my prompt. And when you first look at it, it might seem decent, but there's actually a big problem with it. You see, AI generators work with real code behind the scenes, and when we give them a normal block of text, like this prompt of mine, they have a hard time analyzing it. So what I usually do to get the best results is use a JSON format, but doing that manually would take you a ton of time. So that's why I found a website online called videoprompt.studio, which is completely free, and it'll turn any prompt you have into a JSON structure. So let's go ahead and do that. You just paste in your prompt, which in my case is this one, and you'll get something like this. So I'll just copy it and paste it into the video section in Cinema Studio. For the aspect ratio, I'm going 16:9, and the resolution is going to be 1080p, even though Higgsfield can push it to 4K. So if you want the best quality, you can go with that. Just be aware of the credits. What I usually do is generate and test all my drafts at a lower quality first. And once I'm happy with what I have, I'll either regenerate at the highest quality or just upscale it inside Higgsfield. For the duration, I'm doing 15 seconds, and I'll leave everything else the same. But before I can actually generate it, there's one secret feature you need to see. Can you see this small smile mark icon beside each character? Well, if you press on it, you get this wheel with 8 different categories and 3 intensity levels, where you can choose the emotion for the character. So instead of writing in the prompt that he looks scared, you can simply choose the emotion right here. So for my character, I'm choosing vigilance, and I'll do the same for the second one. Now that it's all set, let's take a look at what we get.
Help me get it loose.
There's a lot of suspense here, starting from the deep background sounds and also because of the lighting, so I think it matches exactly what I was looking for. And besides that, we've got our two characters exactly like we wanted. But we all know that with AI, the first scene always looks good. The biggest problem is usually the second scene, where most people find their characters start shifting and don't look the same anymore. So let me show you the simplest setting I use to get rid of that. I change the emotion of my character to terror, and for the second one, I'll choose fear. And for the prompt, I'm going back to videoprompt.studio and pasting this one, then I'll copy and paste the result into the prompt box in Higgsfield. And now, here's the secret. Press the plus button where you'd usually add the sequences, but instead of adding an image or a new character, we go into video generations and add the scene we just created. This way, the AI analyzes it from start to finish, and it'll continue the next scene exactly from where this one ended. So let's generate this scene.
Careful how you touch it. Oh my God, we gotta get out of here!
And as you can see, the new video started exactly where it should, and all the characters look the same from start to finish, which means this trick worked. And now all you need to do is generate as many scenes as you want using the same strategy. But I'm going into CapCut right now to put both of them on the timeline and export it. It doesn't take much editing because we already did the hard work. So let's take a look at what we've got.
Help me get it loose. Careful how you touch it. Oh my God, we gotta get out of here!
This actually looks like one scene from a real movie. There's literally nothing that would make me think it was made with AI, and both characters have emotions you can read on their faces, which was something quite hard to get with AI just a few months ago. But this is what you can achieve with the first method inside Higgsfield. However, if you want to create a UGC ad or promote a product, this might not be the best solution, and that's where the second method comes in. The one that lets you create anything from normal to luxury brand ads for your product. And all of this happens inside Marketing Studio, which you'll find on the top bar in Higgsfield. so let's press on that. And as you can see straight away, there are a ton of presets, and each one is basically doing 90% of the hard work. You don't need to write any complex prompt or anything, you just need to select the right one. But before I can actually show you how these presets work, I need two things, a product and a character. So for the product, I'm going to create an energy drink called Nova. Then I'll get back into Higgsfield, into the image section, and create it. For the model, I'm going with GPT Image 2, because this is the best when it comes to text rendering, especially if it's on a product as small as our energy drink. So I'm going to use this prompt, and here's what it gives me. We get these two panels, one with the front of the energy drink and one with the back. So when we use this inside the presets, the AI knows exactly how the product looks from any angle. So let's save it. And now for the character, I'm actually going to stay inside Marketing Studio, and in the prompt box, I'll press on this button that says Avatar. You can either generate it from scratch using text, which is what I'm going to do, or use a reference image for it. So let's press on the first option, and I'll paste in this prompt, and for the name, I'll call him Jake. Then I'll click Product and manually create the energy drink image we made earlier. So now that we have this, let's actually test it with two of my favorite presets. The first one is UGC, so to go with that, I press on this button where you have access to all the presets and choose UGC. I'll set the duration to 15 seconds, the quality to 1080p, and the aspect ratio I'll keep at 9:16. So let's take a look.
Okay, I've tried every energy drink out there. Nova is different. No crash, no jitters, just clean focus for hours. One can gets me through my whole afternoon.
Well, this is exactly why I like UGC ads, especially the ones made inside Higgsfield. They feel extremely natural, and it doesn't seem like they're trying to sell you too hard, which is exactly what makes them high converting. So I can actually save this one and run it as an ad on TikTok. Now, if you want something more professional, you'll want to use the Hypermotion preset. So let me go and choose that. And what makes this one special is that you can use it without a character. You just need to put in the product and it'll create everything by itself. I'll switch the aspect ratio to 16:9, and when it comes to the actual prompt, I'm going with a JSON structure using the same video prompt.studio site from earlier. So let's paste it in and take a look at the result. It instantly feels like one of those TV commercials that companies with millions in budget run. What I like the most about this one is those small water particles on the bottle at the beginning. They give me this mood of freshness and cold, which is exactly how I want an energy drink to feel. However, if you want full control over your generations and you don't want to use just the presets, the third method might change how you make a video forever. And that's because the third method is all about the Higgsfield supercomputer. And if you've never heard of it before, you can think of it like Claude, but one that can also generate images and videos for you. So it's a built-in chat agent you can have a real back and forth conversation with. Once you know exactly what you want, you simply tell it to create it, and it's going to use the best settings and features out there to get you the results you want. To access it, let's go on the Higgsfield homepage, and from the top bar, press on Supercomputer. Now, one thing I always do is set it to approve before generation. This makes sure it doesn't create any image or video before I'm actually sure I want it to, which saves me from wasting credits on something I don't want. So now that we're inside, let's actually test it and create a new video from scratch, which I want to be a Michelin-style cooking competition. So what I'll do is use this prompt and upload an image of myself so it can create what I asked for with a character that looks like me. And now Supercomputer starts following its plan. The first step is creating 3 different character sheet variations based on the image I uploaded. Each variation shows the character from multiple angles, so Supercomputer can keep the appearance consistent throughout the video. Once they're ready, it asks me which version I like the most. I like version 1, so I'll select it and press submit. Now it moves on to the next step in its plan, which is creating the location. For this video, that's going to be a Michelin-style competition kitchen. Before it generates anything, it asks me to approve the image generation. This is exactly why I turned on approve before generation earlier. I can now see what it plans to create before it spends any credits. So I'll press approve. After a moment, it gives me 3 different kitchen variations and asks me which one I prefer. I like the first one, so I'll select version 1 and press submit. Next, Supercomputer creates a 6 6-panel storyboard for the entire video. At first, it's presented as text explaining what happens in each shot, so I can read through the full sequence and decide whether I want to approve it or make any changes. Everything looks good to me, so I'll approve the storyboard and press submit. Now Supercomputer starts generating the visual storyboard while preparing the video pipeline in parallel. It asks me once more to approve the image generation, so I'll press approve. Then it gives me one final approval request, this time for the video generation itself. I'll press approve again, and now Supercomputer can finally generate the finished video scenes. And here's what it gives us. Well, I'm genuinely impressed by the precision of it. I really like the camera movement at the beginning, where it goes slow and then zooms into his plate. And even when he places that micro herb with the tweezer, everything else on the plate moves a bit, which makes sense. And there's almost nothing I can point out. I'd only say it's a bit weird that the fourth judge doesn't have a notebook on the table, but besides that, everything is really impressive. So now, let's go inside CapCut and upload both scenes on the timeline, do any adjustments if needed, and if not, let's simply export it and take a look at the final result. It simply looks amazing. And this method, alongside the other tools I showed you in this video, has now made you 10 times better than the normal people who barely know how to use Higgsfield. So if you want to test these out for yourself, but don't have an account yet, go sign up to Higgsfield using the link in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.